Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tokenicer, and I'm here to bring you guys in-depth news, analysis, and insights from the digital asset space, along with covering the progressive tokenization of the world. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out tokenicer.network for all my content platforms conveniently linked in one spot. For my Twitter threads, Medium articles, Spotify podcasts, and much more. And of course, that'll be linked right down below as usual. So in today's episode, I got to sit down once again with Brian Jun. Some of you guys may remember the first interview I did with Brian way back almost a year ago now, where they were still actually Terramoon Ventures before I joined their team. And well, since then, let's just say a lot has changed. From rebranding from Terramoon to ChainStats with a completely different goal in mind, to just everything that's happened after a little under a year of collaborating and working together almost on a daily basis. It's truly been an amazing experience, and I'm so excited to share this conversation with you guys. And beyond just catching up and talking about all the changes, Brian actually dropped some very interesting hints of what ChainStats is going to be like and the utility behind our application. This is fresh alpha that literally hasn't been shared publicly anywhere else, so be sure to watch through the entire interview for some super valuable nuggets of information. And in addition to joining the ChainStats Discord to stay up to date with all the fundamentals, technicals, and on-chain statistics, and overall just joining a community of very like-minded people in the digital asset space, that'll be linked right down below for you guys interested in joining us. Now, as always, right before we get started, I just got to remind everyone real quick that neither me nor my guests are any form of financial or investment advisors, and therefore nothing you ever hear or read from us should be taken as any form of financial or investment advice. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. We've already started.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought we were just fucking around.
We are fucking around. Maybe we could put this in the bloopers or something. But how's your day been?
It's been nuts.
It's been crazy.
So much has been unraveling in the crypto industry, and typical bear market things. There's always something going on. Tether FUD, China FUD, companies going under. Certain companies who don't have their corporate structures set up correctly, or they're doing, illegal things. It's normal to see them pretty much get wiped out during bear markets, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we're kind of just seeing more geopolitical FUD at the same time, right? Like we just got news of what's happening with Russia and Poland just, I think, yesterday.
God, yeah, even that too. You know, like there's a lot of stuff happening right now.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But hey, it's been a while since we've done this, about a year now, and you guys were still Terramoon at the time, and I wasn't even part of the team yet. And so much has changed since then. Do you want to just kind of go over some of the things that's happened since we've last publicly spoke?
God, where do I begin? Yeah, you were actually my first interview about a year ago.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, God, done so many interviews since then. From doing an AMA with Ben Jorgensen from Constellation to now we're doing AMAs twice a week. You're in there doing your tea times. It's been a hell of a journey, really. And we went from Terramoon, which was really, centered around trading and education on, how to read the charts and technicals. And then you had your element in there with teaching about fundamentals and how to spot really good projects. But as the industry started to evolve, we looked at ourselves as a company and we wanted to evolve with the industry as well. And so we started to think, how can we bring as much impact and value to our community at the same time while staying true to ourselves, right? And so that's where ChainStats comes into play. And ChainStats is basically an on-chain data application. I think on-chain data is going to be really important moving forward It brings a level of transparency that people want to see, right? No more conspicuous people doing these things. And luckily, since everything is recorded on the blockchain, it's out in the open for everybody to see, right? And so that's sort of how ChainStats came about.
Yeah, it's definitely been an exciting switch just from, I mean, when we first talked, like the main part of Terramoon was having this community of like-minded traders and investors, right? I don't want to say done a full 180 turn because there are still a lot of those aspects that we carry, but we really have a kind of killer application initiative now, right?
I would think so. I'm a little bit biased, but yes.
I would agree. There's only so much we can publicly say here, but
Yeah.
I think the community is gonna love it.
I think so too. And a lot of the features, the design features that we've implemented into ChainStats was from real world experiences, right? So as an analyst, whether you're a fundamental analyst or you're a technical analyst or an on-chain data analyst, we wanted to put everything into one place, right? So one of the problems that I face when analyzing the markets is if I wanted on-chain data, I had to go to X website, right? If I wanted to just look at the composite charts, I had to go to TradingView. If I wanted to see total supply, market cap, etc., I'd be on another site. And next thing you know, I have a bunch of these different websites open, and I have to subscribe to every single one of them, right? And so I'm starting to get into a lot of the application side of things, but why not? So we're combining a lot of this stuff in a really, really easy to digest manner. Right. One of the problems that I faced even as an analyst when using some of these websites for the first time, it was really hard for me to get the value from it because it was so difficult to understand. Right. We don't know how certain things are valued. It doesn't just give you a simple answer. And if we're going to go into this next stage of Web3, where we expect a lot of the masses to come into our industry, we need to make things really easy for them to digest, really easy for them to understand. The last thing you want to do as a person who just signed up for crypto is come in and just feel like you're stupid, right? Like it's just a lot of jargon that you don't understand. So we're doing our best to aggregate some really complex data types and spitting that back out so that it's really easy for anybody to read.
For sure, yeah. I'm a little surprised you put that much out there, but I think this is the first we've described ChainStats that thoroughly, and just beyond kind of all the messes with average retail coming in and having a hard time with the learning curve, you're definitely right on the silos part, like beyond kind of just researching. But when we even look at the blockchain space on a fundamental level, everything still operates in silos. Other blockchains don't naturally interoperate. And so this really goes to show just like overall how early we still are in this industry, where most of the infrastructure still isn't developed whatsoever yet.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And with our application, we're not siloed into like a specific project. We're open. We're essentially bringing in data from every single other project, right? So it's data agnostic. We're pulling in massive amounts of data.
For sure, and agnostic technology, in my opinion, is probably one of the best ways you can build in this space, right? With so much uncertainty and kind of so much still developing, it's safest to have that kind of agnostic background to where you can kind of plug and play into any other ecosystem that might already be pre-existing or something very innovative coming out in, say, 3 to 5 years.
I completely agree. It's always harder for you to make something, bring adoption into something if people have to change all of the systems that they're already used to using, right? So why make it more difficult for people? Why not just take what's already out there and make it easier to use rather than trying to teach people all of these new different things, right? And so that's one of the beliefs that we have is keep it simple, stupid, keep things minimal. We think less is more. And we think that making things easier for people to understand is going to be really, really important moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. And just on the other side about ChainStats now, as you know, we still have the Discord group open and everything. How has that transition been for you specifically? And also just, I guess I can touch up on how it's been for the community and everything.
That's been quite the journey too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I remember, when we first opened it, I had no idea what Discord even was. I was just looking for a place where I can put down my thoughts. And we went from having like 4 or 5 people in there to, almost 800 members in there right now. But the thing that really makes me excited about our community is how active it is. Right? We're not one of those Discords where we're set up, there's a bunch of people in there and there's nothing going on. There's always something going on within our community. And one of the things that I'm really proud of and I enjoy reading in our Discord is it's not just people talking about price action or technical analysis. There's a lot of research that goes on within our community as well. From brilliant minds like yourself, we have other members who contribute a lot of research in there, and then on top of that, you have some very good analysts as well on the technical and on-chain data side. It's a beautiful, cohesive marriage between fundamentals, technicals, on-chain data, and so it's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just to add to that, I think it's important to throw in everything that happens in the off-topic lounge that we have, right? It really adds to that whole family aspect of it. I mean, yeah, we have all that educational stuff, whether you're looking for on-chain data, technical analysis, or fundamental analysis. But sometimes when you're kind of just around with a group of like-minded people every day, you want to get to know each other better, know about each other's lives, and just share kind of what's going on with you outside of crypto. And I think that's a really overlooked part of a specific community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's really important from a top-down structure for, CEOs, people that are, founders, or moderators to really be with the community and engage with the community as if they're a family. And that's been one of our biggest strengths, actually, as ChainStats, is that community and family vibe that we have in there.
For sure, I definitely agree. And I think just one way to really prove that, or just one example of that really, is how we've progressed and moved even through kind of all this FUD and the bear market activity. You see most projects kind of slow down in activity and development, but maybe we're just biased, but I'd like to think we've really ramped stuff up once, interest was kind of dying down.
The funny thing is we actually get more exposure during bear markets and extreme volatility, right? Because it's easy to hold when the markets are just trading sideways. But when you start to see analysts that are within our community calling things and see things starting to actually play out, that's when a lot of people who are outside of our community take notice and see that, oh man, these guys, it seems like they know what they're doing. I want to go check out what they're doing. And that's actually been the times, those times where we've had the most growth in our community, which says a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And I think while we're on the topic of community growth, I think one thing that's really changed a lot since my initial time at joining, when it was still TerraMoon actually, is that while TerraMoon was initially grouped to where, people would learn about technicals and fundamentals, a lot of it was you spearheading the way and explaining everything. Whereas now I hop into the Discord and it's like, everyone's actually taken that knowledge you've given them and applied that to their own learning, and everyone has something unique to kind of bring into the group every single day now.
Yeah, I think one of the misconceptions of ChainStats is that people think that we're a trading group. That's actually far from what we actually are. One, we're a software company. And two, me giving the educational side of how to read the on-chain data and couple it with the fundamentals and with the technicals and combine that to give you an idea of where the probability is sort of leaning towards, right? The educational aspect is what we're really focused on. You're right, it's amazing to see our community members breaking down different trade ideas and different investment ideas to their peers, but doing it in a very detailed manner with a lot of data backing up their thesis, rather than just throwing up a chart and saying, hey, we're going to here, right? There's a huge difference, and you can tell the market maturity from the people that are in our community versus your average trader, right?
Oh, 100%. And it really goes back to that saying of where you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or teach him to fish and feed him for life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think just beyond kind of the change from Terramoon to ChainStats, a lot of it has just been us progressing further along kind of with our community and just really building the proper roadmap that we think is going to be applicable and that we can best follow for the years to come.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
Yeah. But moving on to kind of more recent news now, how do you feel about all that's kind of happened with the market lately? Just technicals wise and macro fundamental wise.
Right. No, volatility equals opportunity. When the markets trade sideways for months, like we did when we were ranging from 18 to 20,000 on Bitcoin, it gets pretty boring, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And this is not financial advice but to retail, who's trying to trade within those really tight ranges. Those are very, very, very difficult trading conditions to be in. And so like myself, I was just basically sitting on my hands and waiting for the trade to come down to specific targets that I have in mind. But once we finally got that volatility that came in, took advantage of a lot of those situations. And I think a lot of people in our community was actually pretty surprised that we weren't trading, right? That I wasn't trading in those conditions, and I was just kind of on the sidelines waiting for things to happen. But if you're an investor or if you're a trader, volatility is opportunity, right? So I actually welcomed the volatility. I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot more fun than kind of the chop we're actually currently seeing right now, right?
Yeah. The sideways actions, it's not a time to actually be trading, but it's a really good time for people to start learning, right? If the market's sideways and it's not doing anything, try different things, right? Research different projects, figure out why you like this project over that one. Learn some technical analysis or on-chain analysis. It's the best time to learn, because once the volatility kicks in, things are moving so fast, then it becomes muscle memory. Like, what did you train yourself to do? What did you train your mind and your emotions to do? Because once that kicks in, you're going to default back to what you trained yourself to do, right? Just like sports.
Exactly, yeah. It's like it's preparing for game day pretty much, and game day's when the volatility comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But going back to kind of everything ChainStats now, I'm really depending on how much you're willing to share, what are some exciting things you can kind of let the community know about, what's to come soon?
Over the next few weeks to several months, get ready to see some more AMAs and interviews such as this, where you might actually start to see some of the project or some of the application being revealed. That would be the next big step.
Awesome. Okay.
Is starting to release some of the actual product design, start to talk about some of the features that will come with the application. I would say that would be the next step.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Just really showing the community what we've spent these months building behind the scenes, right? Because all we've really shown them is the applications of on-chain data and, some hints at what we may be building, but they haven't really gotten a clear picture of kind of our true roadmap and what our application is going to look like. So I think this is really going to help them visualize and understand further the importance of why we're building this.
Right. And on-chain data is just going to get bigger and bigger. So our job is to take all of this jargon and give it to retail so that it's easy for them to understand, and institutions as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, simplifying blockchain, kind of the aspects of blockchain down to where it can be adopted by any retail or institution that hasn't stepped foot in the crypto space yet.
Correct.
Yeah. And, this is just a question I wonder a bit myself, but why do you think it is that there's so much kind of jargon and such a large learning curve to kind of succeeding in the crypto markets?
I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of the people who are designing these projects or products are engineers, right? They're developers. And we saw a big shift from people who were in Silicon Valley leaving their corporate jobs and coming into Web3 to design and start their own businesses, right? And for a lot of them, entrepreneurship is it's a first-time startup company for them. They've had a lot of success developing products, but they didn't have to take up the entrepreneurial side of things, right? So that's new to them, but the software side to them is something that they're really well-rounded in, right? And so I think they're building these amazing projects, but then at the same time, they're not making it easy enough for the average person to just pick things up and completely understand it, right? I think one of the reasons why Apple and Coinbase are so successful is because they make things very minimalistic. They make things very easy and very accessible, right? And so that's sort of the mindset that ChainStats has as well.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of need both sides of it. You need a good application, so you definitely need good software development and a team around that. But you also need a kind of business-like mindset where they understand the kind of pros and cons and the struggles and benefits of various different products being put out there.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of projects out there. I won't point any names, but where they might have one side of it, but might not have the other. And a lot of times, just one simple kind of shortcoming like that can be kind of the downfall of a project's chances of getting mass adopted.
Yeah, no one wants to subscribe to an application and then just spend months trying to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Like Amazon, you go onto their website, even though they have millions and millions of products they sell, it's pretty easy to navigate around their website, right? And we think that's really important when it comes to building out ChainStats as well.
Yeah, for sure. And since we're kind of talking about everything on chain, I'm curious kind of because the large part of the on-chain research I do has been fundamental focused, where I'm tracking things like number of quant wallets with X amount of tokens. I'm curious from a technical analyst standpoint, what are kind of the issues that you mainly face with on-chain applications at the moment?
You mean with the current ones that are on the market right now?
Yes, the current ones on the market.
Some of it is just showing you what the value is, right? They don't tell you if it's in BTC terms or dollar terms, and there's no way to figure it out. It's a steep learning curve, mainly on the UX side of things. I think when it comes to the tech itself, I think a lot of them are very great, right? They pull in a lot of information. I just feel like the delivery could be done in a way that it's just easier for people to navigate and use.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. And a lot of times it is kind of that UI UX that is the kind of breaking point on whether, a project becomes largely well, I don't want to say a project, but an application with an interface. Like, for example, TradingView has such a large monopoly on kind of the technical analyst side because it's just so simple to drag and drop and switch between different charts, right?
Right. And a fun fact, TradingView gets more foot traffic than Pornhub.
I still don't know where you found that statistic, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. there's some information with TradingView I almost leaked, but we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah.
We're basically taking everything from here, there, pulling it in, and just trying to make a really good experience for the users when they use the application.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes keeping things simple is for the best. Like, I think they're like with ChainStats, for example, we do have the potential to where if we put in way too many, let's say, less useful statistics, that it actually makes it worse than some of the other competitors we might be looking at.
You just brought up a really good point. A lot of the functions that you're going to see on our application, if they're there for a reason, right? I feel like some of these other websites, they just added a bunch of stuff to it that you never actually use. And in a sense, it could just get overwhelming, right? If you're not familiar with their application, it just looks like way too many things. It becomes overwhelming. It's just very complicated to use. So a lot of the things that we did was actually cut out a lot of crap, and then just make sure that the really important data sets are in the application. So if you see it on there, it has a purpose.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that potentially really separates us from, other projects that might be building in a similar aspect is that we're both kind of very experienced people with using these applications, where you probably use on-chain applications every single day to trace things like exchange inflows, aggregated outflows to wallets. And I've spent my fair amount of time just getting my hands dirty around Etherscan and taking hundreds of screenshots around there. So we both understand kind of why, this application might be needed because of all the inconveniences and silos that are still not addressed to this day yet.
Correct. And so our application actually meets a bunch of different criterias, right? If you're the average person that just signed up for crypto yesterday, you'll find value within the application. Even if you're not looking at the charts, there's other things in there that you can use every single day. And just like to your point, if you're somebody who is really well knowledge in the space and you're very technically savvy, or you're a deep market researcher such as yourself, you're also going to find a lot of value within this application as well, and also for institutions.
For sure, yeah. I'm personally really excited to get this application going, just so I can actually use it myself. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but
yeah,
it's gonna make life a lot easier, hey?
100% agree.
Yeah.
And you only have to be at one application. No more having to have like 10 windows open and subscribing to all of them. You can get everything in one place.
Yeah, because those subscriptions really add up, hey? Especially if, those statistics aren't giving you the best of information to profit from those trades.
Yeah, absolutely.
But aside from that, is there kind of anything else you want to share regarding the development of ChainStats, or just anything kind of talking about really since we've last talked?
Just be on the lookout over the next few weeks to several months. You're going to start seeing our project come to life. You're going to see more interviews. You're going to start seeing some potential product demos. If you're still in crypto right now, you should be damn proud of yourself, because, the people that were here when we were at all-time highs, 90% of them are gone, right? And so now you have this market maturity and new experiences that you've had going through a bear market or a crypto winter, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of that comes with lessons, right? And then during the next cycle, there's going to be new people, new players who come in who are going to be echoing the same things. And I think it's up to us to pass along the knowledge that we've learned through these experiences to help other retail investors in the space.
Yeah, man, I think it's really important to keep that passing of the torch down of where, previous bear market participants kind of pass down their knowledge onto the newbies coming into the space during the next bull run. I
Yeah.
think, it's a bit interesting because you don't see anything like these in other markets really. Like in legacy markets, you never really see this form of connection and really learning from one another like you do in, well, crypto markets, right?
Right. Right.
It's truly a unique space. But aside from that, where should we follow you guys for more updates on, news on ChainStats and perhaps when the application's up and running?
Yeah, you guys should definitely join our Discord channel. It's a very active community. It's at ChainStats. You can follow us on Twitter at ChainStats Pro. You can follow us on Instagram at chainstats.pro. But I would start with joining our Discord and Twitter communities.
And our Discord actually just got done being fully opened up for the rest of the community, or during that whole kind of FTX craze, right?
Oh yeah, it was a ton of excitement, ton of fun, and it was nice that people were able to keep their cool with what was happening. You know, out on Twitter, everyone was panicking, everything was going crazy. And then you look at the sentiment within our Discord community, and everyone was calm, collected, everybody had a plan, and everyone was passing along information as news, like breaking news was dropping. It was amazing to see everybody come together.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And just to add to that, I mean, we're discussing on certain features that we're actually going to be keeping in the free section of the chain stats, eh?
Yeah, so market updates is now open to everybody, so you can get a overall macro look at what we think is happening within the industry. Off-topic lounge, it's crazy in there.
Yep.
That's open. TA Tuesdays with myself every Tuesday. It's a live AMA, live market report. That is now open to everybody. If you're a global affiliate, you can interact during those shows, but we're opening that up as well.
Awesome. I'm so excited to see the continued development of ChainStats, both on the Discord community side, but also the application. As always, it's a great time talking to you.
We came full circle.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
So much has changed since since we've last talked publicly, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The camera shy's definitely toned down a little.
Oh, and that reminds me, I'm not talking to a picture anymore. Yeah. Our first interview, I sat there for an hour talking to a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice that you finally doxed yourself.
For sure, nice, yeah. And
out there,
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what's to come.
Same.
All right. Same. Thanks for coming on, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, well, there you guys have it. The long-awaited part 2 of Brian and I's discussion. It's been an amazing journey from basically setting up an interview as strangers to the bond we've formed to now truly build out this community and application of our own. I hope everyone enjoyed this chat we had and maybe are as excited about more news release of our application as we are. Don't forget to check out Tokenicer.network for more crypto analysis content. And be sure to join the ChainStats Discord to not only get updates on the progress of our application, but to also get the best fundamental, technical, and on-chain research, along with interacting and chatting further with Brian, myself, and the rest of our community. But that's about all I got for you guys today. As usual, stay safe and keep learning. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.